Moment, chaos erupted at Donald Trump's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania.
If you want to really see something that's sad, take a look at what happened.
You can hear several pops and see the former president grabbing his ear, ducking for cover behind the podium. Secret Service agents rushing the stage, surrounding Trump, shielding him, taking him down to the ground. The screaming crowd looking on in horror. A short time later, agents carefully lifting the former president up.
I got you. Let me get my shoes. Hold on, your head.
Blood clearly seen on his face, Trump pumping his fist. Agents whisking the former president off the stage, down the stairs, to a waiting armored SUV, rushing to a local medical center.
We heard what we appeared to be gunfire coming. The former president was rushed off the stage right now. His vehicle. This was a chaotic moment that just played out right here in Pennsylvania. People running and rushing to the ground as they heard those apparent shots fired.
Then pandemonium. Thousands of people running for cover. Tonight, the Trump campaign releasing a statement saying the former president is fine and being checked out at a local medical facility. Donald Trump Jr. telling ABC News he spoke to his father, who remains in the hospital, and described Trump as in good spirits, saying he remains under observations.
Just hours ago, this area was lined with Trump supporters. They entered that tent right there to be screened by Secret Service, going through metal detectors, their belongings tested. Now, this is the space where you have Trump supporters that are leaving, panicked and confused, as Secret Service agents rush us out of this area and back to our cars.
Tonight, the crowd still in disbelief.
Tell me what you saw and what you heard. You said that you heard the popping sounds when you got down.
Sounds. At first you think like maybe firecrackers, but it continued, and then somebody yelled, "Get down!" We got down, and we huddled, and we started praying.
Tonight, local officials telling ABC News those sounds were in fact gunshots. Live rounds fired from a rooftop adjacent to the venue outside the security perimeter. This is being investigated as an attempted assassination. And tonight, the local district attorney telling ABC News at least one person is dead, and the shooter is dead as well. Tonight, President Biden addressing the nation.
I have tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors. Apparently he's doing well. I plan on talking to him shortly, I hope, when I get back to the telephone. Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. And everybody must condemn it.
And back out here, outside of where this rally took place just hours ago, we are just the last remaining network crew, and no one else is allowed in at this time. We know that behind me, where this rally took place, it's now an active crime scene. We have seen an increase in the amount of officials that have gone in. We've also seen people leave. We actually just spoke to one man who was a physician. He said that this was his very first Trump rally. He just spoke to the FBI about what he witnessed. He said he rushed to the aid of that bystander, of that attendee that ultimately was shot and later passed away due to his injuries. He said he was trying to do everything that he could to help. And I just want to move aside here to give you a sense of how this looks right now. Behind me where the lights are, that is where this Trump rally took place. And within minutes of the former president taking the stage, that's when we heard the gunshots erupt. And something that's very striking, I will tell you, being here tonight after witnessing the chaos and the panic that unfolded in those minutes, the terrifying moments for everyone that gathered here today, there is that image of the American flag, a strong reminder that even in these divided times, there is something that still unites us.
Absolutely, that's a great point. And Rachel, you've been there for hours in the stifling heat and witnessing all of this. You were inside when it happened. You were rushed out by law enforcement, and here you are once again. I do have a follow-up question for you, though. I know as you're sort of giving us the lay of the land here, we've been hearing from not only law enforcement about this other building that the shooter was apparently perched on top of, and we also heard from witnesses who said that they described seeing that location with canines and law enforcement scoping it out as they were being escorted out. Did you get any sense of where that was in relation to the venue where the shots were fired?
Yeah, you know, I know that there are buildings that do surround this fairgrounds area, but I don't exactly know which building in particular many of those witnesses have been referencing. It was chaos in the minutes that followed, and we did see law enforcement officials, some with canines, sniffing some areas as it was being roped off. And then, of course, we were all sort of escorted out in those moments. So I can't tell you exactly what direction that building was located in. I've heard the same exact thing from several witnesses, in fact. And something that we do know is that this area behind me, no one is going out, no one is going in. We were live on the air as Secret Service moved all of the press out of that area as well. We were told at the time that we'd be let back in maybe within an hour or so to get the rest of our materials, some of our gear left inside, backpacks and personal belongings. All of that is now remaining inside as police continue to investigate what happened here hours ago.
We know so many of those witnesses you spoke with, they're going to need time to process and deal with the trauma of what they witnessed inside the bloodshed in that event today. Rachel Scott for us, we can't thank you enough. Thank you so much. We also have been speaking with, as we noted, a number of people who were there at that Trump rally inside, describing what they saw, what they heard, and some of it very disturbing. Let's take a look.
I was positioned probably about maybe 20 feet away from right in the middle of the stands. If you're facing Trump, we were in the left section underneath the screen, right in the front row. I just saw the bullets hitting the stands, bouncing up, and I thought they were like the shells at first. You know, I thought someone was right beside us, and then I heard the pause. There was the 4 shots, maybe a 5-second pause, and then the rest of the 4 shots that I then heard, and then all of a sudden I'm hearing everyone just screaming, get down, get down. I'm hearing, get a medic. I'm seeing people with blood on them. I'm trying to help people get down, and I look up, I see the Secret Service gathering Trump immediately. Like I heard everyone saying, that was just highly impressive. But yeah, that was basically it from that. It just happened all so fast.
Sure, and John, you know, again, as we've seen the video, it's really just a matter of seconds that all this was happening as the shots were fired, and you're there witnessing all of this in real time. Was there a moment when fear started to settle in, when you realized, oh, this is real, this is really happening, these are gunshots, and now I'm worried about my own safety and the safety of others?
So, I wouldn't say fear, but definitely more concern for others, that because I was around a lot of more older people, so I was more worried about trying to get them down before I can get myself, because I knew I was going to, I have my faith in God, so I knew I was going to be okay, but I just wanted to help other people get down, and I had someone's, I don't know, person with me. I was covering them. They were crying. I was trying to calm them down, help them keep calm. I told them just to keep praying, keep calm. I just kept telling them everything was going to be okay, but unfortunately for those 2 victims, or if there was more, I'm not sure, but yeah, tried my best.
Were you close to some of the victims?
Probably about 5 to 7 feet away from the one gentleman in the stands there, who I guess it was someone's father there.
And how quickly after seeing that victim did you realize that person was in grave danger? Was it immediate?
It was immediate.
By the time I heard the second one, my ears recognized the sound. And very sad situation being in that place. Put my wife down to the ground and covered her up, and everybody around us, we're making sure that everybody was low to the ground and staying in the situation while I also was scanning, because we weren't quite sure exactly at that time where the fire was coming from.
And forgive me, Mayor, I couldn't hear you for a second. Did you say that as you were hearing the gunshots and everybody dove to the ground, that you dove down and tried to cover up your wife?
I did. I tried to cover up my pregnant wife. We just found out we were expecting a few weeks ago when I came here with her and my family today to come and bring them to hear President Trump speak. And my wife and I were blessed enough to be able to meet the president 15 to 20 minutes before he took the stage, and had a pleasant conversation with him, and it was all smiles. So of course, that was stolen from us when this maniac did what he did, and the police that got behind us was not
And how does, what's your reaction to that, to learn that at least one person lost their life today, who was just there at the
one
same
person
rally that you were
lost
attending?
life ងាប់មួយងាប់ម្នាក់នេះឈរក្បែរហ្នឹងអ្នកនឹងក្បែរហ្នឹង
You know what that feeling is. This individual came here likely with a smile on their face, looking for hope and inspiration, looking to hear from President Trump in a place that is deep in
sniper មកគោករោមិនឃើញមិនទេនេះមិញសើស្ពុក sniper
sniper ក៏បាច់ត្រង់ដល់ពួកហ្នឹងមានធ្វើអីក៏បាច់ត្រង់ដែរ sniper something like this could have been possible.
Mayor John David Longo from Slippery Rock, thank you so much for your time, and we're thankful that you and your family are okay tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's turn now to Paul Eklof, a former Secret Service for both former President Trump and for Obama. Paul, talk to me about this investigation as it stands now. Obviously, we've had reports that the Secret Service, other law enforcement agencies are treating this as an attempted assassination unless they hear otherwise. How is an investigation like this pursued from here on?
Yes, sir. These cases are exactly what the Secret Service trains day in and day out for. Unfortunately, it puts into sharp focus that the Secret Service as we know it today exists due to a history of political violence in this country, and they work tirelessly every day to prevent anything but the peaceful transfer of power. In this case, the Secret Service prepares for these contingencies by having agents in place for crime scene prevention, and they perform what's known as an interim federal presence before the FBI conducts the actual investigation on an assassination attempt.
Paul, thank you so much. Forgive me. Stand by for a moment because we're just getting new information right now. I want to go back to John Carl in Milwaukee. John, you're learning more from Trump himself.
Trump, I'm going to read it to you in its entirety. He says, I want to thank the United States Secret Service and all of law enforcement for their rapid response on the shooting that just took place in Butler. This is Donald Trump saying nothing is known at the time about the shooter who is now dead. And here's key new information in this statement from Donald Trump. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong, in that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized what was happening, and then he ends it, God bless America. So a statement from Donald Trump that he has posted on social media saying that he was shot in the right ear by one of the...
You know, at the headquarters of what is supposed to be the Republican National Convention this week, major events that were supposed to take place. How do you expect that not only the Trump campaign, but the Biden campaign will then respond to all of this? What does the next few days and weeks look like on the campaign trail?
I mean, what we're seeing immediately is a pause to the political, to this very heightened stage of this campaign. The Biden campaign has said that they have they've closed off all outbound communication. They're attempting to take down their television advertising across the country right now. We've seen this from people who are Trump's allies, from those who are adamantly opposed to him. But there's something else we're seeing that I have to say. We're already seeing some very divisive rhetoric in an attempt to politicize what has been roundly condemned to that extent, coming from J.D. Vance, one of those who's waiting right now to find out if he's going to be Donald Trump's running mate. We've seen a member of Congress say much the same, except directly pinning the blame on President Biden. So for now, across the political spectrum, a pause, universal condemnation, but the early indications are that that's just not going to last very long. It could get ugly very soon. There should be a moment where the country has a wake-up call that the hateful rhetoric that we have seen across the political spectrum is simply dangerous. We know death threats have become a matter of due course for political figures in this campaign. Even before this campaign, there should be a time for people to say it's time to step back, make it clear that violence has absolutely no place in American politics. But I think think what you're also
events for presidential candidates and the lapse or apparent lapse that occurred in Pennsylvania today is definitely going to impact the way that things are planned here. And if it were to go ahead, I would predict that Milwaukee's going to be something of a fortress. It's going to be very difficult to go or do anywhere, and everyone will be on an extra set of alerts, maybe rightfully so. I think the images and the words coming out from powerful ones. I've heard from a couple of delegates already who just said they've been impressed by the way that Trump and his team have handled this. I think this changes the nature of a convention, even though the convention itself, as of now, is set to start in less than 48 hours.
Rick Klein, thank you so much. Let's go back to Aaron Katursky, our senior investigative correspondent, and reports that another spectator may have been critically injured. The incident is being investigated now as a possible assassination attempt. The former president's son, Don Jr., says his father is under observation at the hospital and in good spirits. President Biden tonight coming before the cameras, condemning the incident, saying there's no place in this country for violence. The former president himself also releasing a statement moments ago, thanking the Secret Service and law enforcement for their rapid response, describing the incident, saying he heard a whizzing sound and shots. And President Biden, as we also noted, they're coming before the cameras. He was condemning the violence, saying all federal agencies are now engaged. He also tried to reach out to the former president personally to speak with him tonight. The incident all playing out before the cameras. The horrific moment here, the loud noises popping, the former president appearing to grab his right ear in that moment. Secret Service agents then rushing the stage, protecting him with their bodies like a human shield. Those anxious moments as everyone was waiting to see if Trump was okay.
This is the shocking moment. Chaos erupted at Donald Trump's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
You can hear several pops and see the former president grabbing his ear, ducking for cover behind the podium. Secret Service agents rushing the stage, surrounding Trump, shielding him, taking him down to the ground. The screaming crowd looking on in horror. A short time later, agents carefully lifting the former president up.
I got you. Let me get my shoes. Hold on,
Blood clearly seen on his face, Trump pumping his fist. Agents whisking the former president off the stage, down the stairs, to a waiting armored SUV, rushing him to a local medical center.
We heard what we appeared to be gunfire coming. The former president was rushed off the stage right now. We're at Secret Service. He's being escorted into his vehicle. This was a chaotic moment that just played out right here in Pennsylvania. People running and rushing to the ground as they heard those apparent shots fired.
Tonight, the Trump campaign releasing a statement saying the former president is fine and being checked out at a local medical facility.
Just hours ago, this area was lined with Trump supporters. They entered that tent right there to be screened by Secret Service, going through metal detectors, their belongings tested. Now, this is the space where you have Trump supporters that are leaving, panicked and confused, as Secret Service agents rush us out of this area and back to our cars.
Tonight, the crowd still in disbelief.
Tell me what you saw and what you heard. You said that you heard the popping sounds when you got down.
Sounds. At first you think like maybe firecrackers, but it continued, and then somebody else get down. We got down, and we huddled, and we started praying.
Tonight, local officials telling ABC News those sounds were in fact gunshots. Live rounds fired from outside the security perimeter. This is being investigated as an attempted assassination. And tonight, the local district attorney telling ABC News at least one person is dead, and the shooter is dead as well. Tonight, President Biden addressing the nation.
I have tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors. Apparently he's doing well. I plan on talking to him shortly, I hope, when I get back to the telephone. Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. And everybody must condemn it.
Those words from President Biden tonight saying everyone must condemn it, something that we've been hearing from politicians on both sides of the aisle. And Rachel Scott is back with us now. Rachel, you've been here since the beginning tonight. We were talking to each other during world news as the rally was just getting underway, and you've been getting these horrific stories from witnesses, and you're with another one tonight.
Yeah, we're with another group of witnesses that saw what happened. I will tell you, hours ago, this area right here was filled with Trump supporters eager, waiting to go inside of that rally. Right now, tonight, this is an area where Trump supporters are gathering. They're left with shock about what happened. Tell me what you saw inside.
Yeah, I was just about like 30 feet from Trump, and then I saw the people that had been shot, and they were bringing them down in the stands right above me, and I just didn't want to get down. I just kept standing, but I saw the man that was hit in the head, and there was a lot of blood, and I knew there was no way that he was going to survive. And there were two of them that they brought down.
Now, John Carl is in Milwaukee because that was supposed to be the location for all the news this week at the Republican National Convention. John, you've been talking to Republican sources there. In fact, you were in the interview when reports of these shots first came out.
នៅការពារឡានពីអ្នកកំភ្លើងស្អីហ្នឹងរួមនឹងចិត្តនោះអាអ្នកឈរស្ដាប់នោះអត់ភ័យទៀតខ្ញុំងើបឡើងវិញហើយជុះហត់ទៅហ្នឹងអូខំណាស់នោះ
when Trump will actually make the announcement of his running mate.
អាអ្នកដែលទៅស្ដាប់នោះអត់ភ្លេចអត់ខ្លាច
imagine shockwaves throughout the hall. Nobody really had any idea yet what had happened.
ស្រីនោះពីរនាក់ស្រីមិនម្នាក់មួយនេះក៏ដល់ពេលដល់ចិត្តឡានគេថតរូបនឹងពីរនាក់កាន់កំភ្លើងអត់ទេឃើញនៅខាងលើ state ស្រីតែម្នាក់នេះគេពីរនាក់គេស្រីពីរនាក់នេះស្រីពីរនាក់តែនៅលើ state តែស្រីតែម្នាក់ឯង
and it's not just here in Milwaukee, where although the convention is starting on Monday, you are already seeing.
I do know that the weapon that the shooter apparently used was something that could be fired from 200, 300 yards away, or even more, and could have been accurate. He very well could have shot more people. He very well could have killed former President Trump. Even though he was 200 or 300 yards away, because that kind of weapon has that kind of range. We don't know yet whether he had a scope on that weapon or any sort of scope whatsoever. But even so, even just with the naked eye, he was clearly shooting within range of President Trump.
Yeah, still so many questions about how this played out, who this shooter was, the motivation there, and where the investigation goes from here. Martha Raddatz, as always, thank you. Let's go to Josh Margolin, one of our senior investigative producers, who's been getting new details from law enforcement. Josh, what are you learning?
With the key part of the investigation, a key part of the investigation will be on looking at where the shooter was, elevated position, as Secret Service now confirms. Elevated positions have long been perceived by law enforcement as a real risk to events, to people that gather. Look, just in recent years, we saw the Highland Park, Illinois mass shooting on July 4th, 2022. That was a shooter who was at an elevated position. Of course, the Las Vegas massacre, the worst mass shooting in American history, that was with a shooter who fired down from an elevated position on the Las Vegas Strip. And obviously, we can't forget President Kennedy was killed by a gunman who was located floors above.
I can see right over here the fencing that has been put up to basically secure this place, several block radius, basically already on lockdown, even though the convention itself doesn't start until Monday at 2 o'clock Eastern time. But they were preparing to keep this, and I've been covering political conventions for a long time. Heightened security is not new, but there does feel to be something different already before this terrible event in Pennsylvania. A heightened sense of concern, again, given the threat environment, given the fact that death threats have become become just a matter of course across in our politics. Political figures, public servants, journalists facing this kind of stuff. So there's, I can only imagine what the next few days are going to look like here.
Yeah, the next 24 to 48 hours, there could be some big changes, even though for now they appear to be staying the course with the plans. John Carl, thank you. Let's go to our Chief Justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas. Pierre, you've been reporting on these threats for months now. Law enforcement, they've been aware, they've been worried about it. This obviously a worst case scenario as they are now investigating what appears to be a possible assassination attempt of a former president.
Indeed, we have a new statement from the Attorney General. He expresses his concern for former President Trump. He says his heart goes out to the victim, the spectator who died. He also issues a statement saying, quote, "We will not tolerate violence of any kind. Violence like this is an attack on our democracy. The Justice Department will bring every available resource to this investigation." And we have some more clarity now about exactly how this is going to unfold. The Justice
rooftop 200 to 300 yards away from the venue, from the president. What does this tell us from your sources in terms of how this event played out and what this individual was able to do?
Well, what I can tell you for a fact that on the screen right now is being circulated by law enforcement. They have that image from Getty. They are circulating